why are you anxious? People will just look at you and say, be positive. Why are you negative all the time? If anyone was open about the fact that, hey, I go for therapy, you judge the person like, oh, something is not all right there.
Sometimes let me just sit and listen to my demons. Give me that time.
Yeah.
And we don't encourage that enough.
Anxiety and mental health issues are like any problem now. Yeah, self-worth in the media is questioned every single day. So you had a whole lot of people posting, I'm there for you, listen to me, I will hear you out. No one does that. It only looks good on social media.
Just because they're famous doesn't give the right for someone to say that, oh, they have a perfect life and it's okay for me to put this upon them.
I mean, I literally feel my head is bursting at times. I want to shake off and scream. At the end of the day, you can't be serving everyone, which is good. Serve people, but first serve yourself.
Hi everyone, welcome to Yellow Door Talks. I am Sonam Mahajan, a mindfulness teacher and life coach. And today I'm in conversation with Pooja Talwar, who's the executive editor of Lifestyle and Entertainment, as well as the head of digital with Good Times. She was an entertainment editor and anchor with NDTV for 20 years, curating and hosting panel discussions, creating content around films, lifestyle, art, culture, news, and more. She has over 25 years of experience in the media and broadcasting industry. Let's bring Pooja in.
Hi Pooja, welcome to Yellow Door Talks. It's such a pleasure to have you and be in conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonam. It's actually my pleasure because I keep following you and it's really motivating and inspiring what you put up and post, because in these times we really do need that.
That's wonderful to hear, and thank you so much for the kind words. And of course, I think we've been exchanging last few weeks around mental health, and I'm really happy that you were up for talking about this as a topic. Like you said, I think it's such an important topic. It's come up in the front line of things in discussions in the last year, just because of such the tough year that it's been. So I'd like to talk to you about today mental health in the newsroom. Of course, you've had your own experiences being in the industry for so long. What does it look like to maintain, mental well-being, being and working in the media industry? And you've also had the chance to meet with, converse with a variety of people, I would say, in the entertainment business, film line, what your thoughts perhaps are on people's journeys as well, and what were the insights that perhaps came out through those discussions. So your experience and through, of course, the insights that you've gained. Pooja, perhaps to get this kick started, if we could start with what's your feeling in terms of the challenges around mental health when it comes to working in this field? What do you think are the challenges, on ground realities that you've experienced?
I'll be honest, and I have anxiety, and I didn't realize that since a child I had anxiety issues, because that nervousness, that thing in your tummy, that sinking feeling, it always came down to, oh yeah, she gets it before math, she gets it before physics, she gets it before an exam. So it's just, she has a nervous disposition. So, I mean, you brush it off like, in those days, I'm talking about the early 70s and 80s, like depression and kids being stressed was unheard of. But also you didn't know how to describe this. It was just like ghabrahat ho rahi hai. I am nervous. I'm just a little scared. So everyone gets butterflies before a big thing. But then, college and then work happened and it kind of got aggravated. But in the last 5 years, I realized I have serious anxiety issues. And also, you do realize things are the way things are going now. The social media, life is so fast paced. Everyone is stressed. It's like that song, Har Insan Pareshan Sa Kyun Hai. It's literally that song for everyone. But I actually realized, because when you say, I am anxious, why are you anxious? People will just look at you and say, be positive. Why are you negative all the time? Things like that. Yeah. And then you do go for counseling, and it's not bad to go for counseling and therapy. But I realized if anyone was open about the fact that, hey, I go for therapy, you judge the person like, oh, something is not all right there. There is nothing wrong with it. You need to normalize it.
Mm.
Anxiety and mental health issues are like any problem now. Yeah, you do go to a doctor when you have the flu. You do go to a doctor when you have respiratory problems. You need to, go to an expert when you are suffering from anxiety and mental health issues. So I realized when I started working lately after my mid 30s, because the newsroom is a very, very challenging atmosphere. It is a very challenging place because you're working 24/7. Your sleep schedules are erratic. It's extremely competitive. There is breaking news. You miss out on a news and you're judged. And then thanks to the social media, which has added to it,
Mm.
people publicly slam you. Now, everything I was just reading recently is this fear of rejection that has set into people is because kitne likes I am, which is equivalent to physical pain because you suddenly realize you're not getting likes. Any nameless, faceless person is going to slam you publicly. That takes its toll. That apart is also your disposition. Sometimes there is a chemical imbalance. So it was in 2018 when I realized when I was working, I had very erratic schedules. I would be called in to work at 6 a.m. to read a bulletin. My work schedule would end at 11 a.m. It was not satisfying me because it just became too much. And like any work situation, you're dealing with all sorts of people. Not everyone likes you. There is politics. There is also competition. You want to be one up. So I did go in I went in to meet a doctor. I said, I have anxiety. He says, you could be going towards borderline clinical depression if you do not take care of yourself, because I had insomnia. I was perpetually on social media saying news kaun sa break ho rahi hai, seeing numbers, seeing how do I protect my back vis-a-vis someone else. All that just took its toll on me. And I realized I needed help. So I have anxiety. I still do have anxiety, and the pandemic has just aggravated it. So it's okay to take medication. I mean, sometimes people look at alternate therapies, meditation, they chant. I do chant. Meditation, I'm not able to, need to make affirmations. But then it also is if you believe in those affirmations, because your self-worth in the media is questioned every single day. Right. If 10 people don't like you, you are convinced you're not a nice person. 10 people have unfollowed you, you are convinced there's something wrong with me. 10 people have hey, there is something wrong with me. So, it takes its toll on you. So it's fine. I went in for help, trying to meditate, and there is nothing wrong. I have people in the gym, like I had a young boy who came up to me, says, ma'am, mujhe depression hai. Embrace him, yeah, but there are people like, oh, don't say anything or off the remark because this person just might take it seriously. You don't have to tread on eggshells around these people. Treat them normally. Everyone's going through it.
Yeah.
It's just during the pandemic when you saw a lot of celebrities, taking, just deciding that they had it. So you had a whole lot of people posting, I'm there for you, listen to me, I will hear you out. No one does that. It only looks good on social media. I just feel this is something that needs to be discussed openly. Workplaces need to get sensitized towards it. It's fine. When I said I am feeling a little low, I'm negative, I had people think, are you negative all the time? It's going to be okay. Think positive. That's not enough. That's not enough.
And that's where this comes in, right? The element of toxic positivity and knowing where to draw the line. It's not just blind positivity and ignoring the realities of what you're experiencing. And that doesn't help, right? Like you described. I think, Pooja, you beautifully put it in terms of the different kind of challenges that come up in the newsroom, in the midst of doing what you do, being the public figure and being out there, right? It comes with it. And this, I think, also came up a fair bit last year. And I can't imagine how people in the media business and journalists dealt with this, right? Reporting on crisis, news that was not pleasant. And when you're doing that for extended hours of time, managing teams, producing editorial products, perhaps sitting at home in a bedroom, and it's led to burnout, of course, anxiety, loneliness, all of these things kind of come up. How was last year, for you personally and with the team? What are the challenges that came up in the industry as such, if you have a sense of that?
See, it was a very, very trying time for everybody. Jobs were being lost, organizations were shutting down, salaries were not being paid.
Right.
And also, I just want to tell people is like we have to stop glamorizing burnout. I am facing one as well. Nothing great about it. That work-life balance, somewhere just the lines just merged and it took its toll. So it's been extremely challenging for me. I don't have a team. I single-handedly work. I do the work of 10 people, but it's just that I feel so passionately about my work. I just feel I have to do a lot more. But at the end of the day, what? Like, I worked for 25 years. When you quit an organization, it's not you're going to get a gold medal saying she contributed so much, nor is your headstone going to read like, oh, she died while working herself to the bone. Yesterday, someone actually told me, what if tomorrow your life is over? Your soul is going to look down and saying, hey, you didn't even have fun. You were just working, working, working. What did that get you? You are going to be forgotten. You will just be someone who filed these. Nobody's even going to remember the stories you filed. So somewhere I feel we compromise a lot on work-life balance.
Yeah.
Last year has been challenging. People, it's everything. Insecurities came to the fore. Some people just became very detached. Some people were very brave enough to leave it all and saying like, it's okay, I will chart my own path. And that takes a lot of courage, because sometimes I also feel I need to take that leap of faith and just say, this is it. I just don't want to go beyond this. But I just realized I was working 24/7, 7 days a week, that entire year. And things were happening around me that I didn't even have time for family. I lost my pet. I could not even mourn him. Everybody's like, no, work, it helps you come, tide you through grief. It does not. It's a process. It takes time. I need time for myself. I've literally said, I need time off. Why do you need time off? You're sitting at home. I mean, sometimes you just need time off with yourself. It could be, I overthink, maybe let me listen to the demons in my head. Yeah. Let me just start out. So it's been happening for everyone across. It's been challenging times. Revenue, jobs are being lost.
Correct.
Social media has become very active. Everybody has become an expert on social media. Everybody is saying anything they want to, and social media has been extremely toxic. That 1 month when the lockdown started, everybody was trying to show the niceness. But it's human nature. You will go back to your fundamental nature. Everyone is slamming the other. I also was trolled, for a reason. I was like, you don't even know the reality of what we are living through. Anyone thinks they have the right to say anything to you. And also, it's not pleasant news. And I was reading somewhere, a lot of health experts, whether it's Louis Hay, if you've read, there's people like B.K. Shivani who I really follow, whether it's a Sadhguru also, they say do not read news first thing in the morning. Meditate, set your intentions for the day. But are we able to do it? No. The first thing is you reach out for that phone and saying, kitne messages have I lost out on? Have I lost out on some news? Who's responded to me? Let me see my social media. Have I got the likes? Have I got the numbers? This is what our life is. We've all become data. We have all become data. We are all algorithms, as I say. We are just dictated by this technology. I mean, that day is not far away when we have robots taking over our lives. And what it does to your mental health.
Absolutely.
What it does to you. I mean, I literally feel my head is bursting at times. I want to shake off and scream.
And this sounds very tough. This sounds, it's definitely not easy to navigate. And I think what you brought up is so important, that sometimes let me just sit and listen to my demons. Give me that time.
Yeah.
And we don't encourage that enough, right? I think, as you said, it's all about.
Don't overthink. That's what you get. Don't overthink. You think too much.
Yeah.
Everyone is an expert. Yeah. Everyone is an expert. Literally, I had people messaging saying, if you're feeling a little out of it, reach out to me. Because when, all those deaths and everything was happening. But honestly, call up 10 of those people. No one takes your call. I mean, if you want to be nice, make an effort to be nice. I know I'm not perfect. I also have my eccentricities. I take things very personally, but now I've been reading a lot. Everyone says every rejection, everything that goes against you is not about you, but we are conditioned in such a way, because even when you read, they all say it's all about you. So this is what I want to know. Is every bad thing happening in life is because of me? That is happening to me. Is it because of me? Because we tend to take self, and especially empaths, tend to take that upon themselves. It's because of me. There are rest who actually feel that it's everything wrong with the world. I am perfect.
Yeah.
I really want to get, achieve that. So
And then this is very important, especially to, the set of people who do tend to look inward as to what is it that I can do about the problem. I think there's a fine line there as well, right? there are circumstances and there are situations that are not in our control. And sometimes it's okay to be kind to yourself and to just take the moment for self-care, to be able to draw.
But are we encouraged, Sonam, to be
No,
kind to ourselves? We aren't.
We are
We
not.
are never encouraged to
Yes.
be kind.
Yeah, it's so true. It's very true what you're saying, and we're not encouraged by the outside, and that's become a part of how we are. And it's so challenging to draw those boundaries and to say no where it's required. And yeah, we're taught that we must give, and give, uh, and that's what it is. So I think it's a
And
lot
then you
of
take your
unlearning.
selfish.
Yes,
Then you take your selfish.
yes, absolutely. So I think there's a lot of unlearning that needs to happen for sure. But tell me, what have you been able to do? Has there been anything that's worked in all these years of working in this, packed, stressful environment?
The thing is, I love my job. So
Yeah.
I actually really love it. Come what it may with whatever. I actually love what I do. So I am proud of what I do, but it's in the last 2 years I'm questioning myself, is this all that I'm meant to do? So I have had, you outgrow relationships, friendships. There have been great friends. There have been mentors who have come and gone. There's some like friends you thought were your best friends who have just not behaved in a certain way. They leave the environment. So all that you do question, it's what happens in the newsroom and in the work area. But the thing is, I do chant. I also, another thing is, I read a lot about the spiritual masters, Gray, and also about karma. I believe in that. So somewhere when you feel you have reached that tipping point, you're like, it's okay, whatever happens, there is a purpose. So I'm still trying to find my purpose in life, but all that helps. And also I work out, I make sure I exercise, and they actually say that it's important that you exercise. We have all compromised on sleep. We have all messed up our eating patterns. It's now all health experts are talking like the biggest healer is sleep. In the newsroom, I actually want to tell, because when we started, you're doing 18-hour shifts, and hey, you're young, you're just starting out. But I'm surprised at kids now. Day after 9, I say it's my time off. I wish our mentors and our seniors had told us that. Can't glamorize that. I see the newer generation is far more saner than though I sometimes question their obligations and their, are they really very loyal to work? But they know where to start that work-life balance. So, compromising on sleep and stuff like that, eating at erratic hours, working yourself, all that achieves nothing. It just messes you up here. So what has helped me is, the travel. I love to travel. Now we can't even travel. But I've also realized on my travels also last year, when I had this last year, I was still working. What for? And didn't achieve anything. So, but the thing is, take some time off for yourself. Go to a spa, travel. I do solo travel. I just leave it. I, don't want to be with anyone. Exercise. Think about yourself. Whatever modality works for you. For some people, yoga does. For me, hardcore exercise does. Chant, meditate. You need to put yourself out first. And this is now everyone is waking up to that, because at the end of the day, you can't be serving everyone, which is good. Serve people, but first serve yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So self-care, you're talking about looking within, taking care of what is needed for yourself, and then giving from that space. And I think also
and it's okay to be selfish. It's good to be selfish. It's really good to be selfish. When I decided to leave, after 20 years of working, because I couldn't handle it. Yeah, 4 baje subah utho and you are like working till 11 o'clock at night. It took its toll on me. Maybe I reacted, maybe I rubbed a lot of people a wrong way, but it was my stress. My body was breaking down. Yeah, how long are you going to push this machine? How long are you going to push it? Because someday it's going to say, didn't the environment also react? And we got this virus because we had abused the earth and the climate so much. It was like, take it. We all need to heal, and healing is not bad. It's not bad. I know. I also, when I said I have anxiety, oh God, yeah, she's so negative. I mean, come on, I'm not being negative. It's just me reacting to the environment, So it's okay. Go take help, everything, but put yourself first. This is what is been my learning in the last 25 years. Do not compromise on yourself. You have to put yourself out there first. The rest will follow.
And it's so important to plug in, I think, consciously. Some of the things you brought up, I think one has to consciously do it, or else you're in that flow of just working. And hopefully,
that's what I did.
And hopefully we don't have to get to that breaking point, to take those decisions. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's that self-awareness, managing it, knowing what's happening, listening to the body, and being able to plug in those pauses, so we don't burn out, we don't get to that point
Yeah.
at all. But I think
Yeah.
it has to be done consciously. It's not going to come to us naturally because we're
Yeah.
not
And also
conditioned.
the thing is people will advise you, but do realize they'll advise you from the experiences that they have
Yes.
experienced.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, believe your gut, whether it takes you, whether it's a right decision or good decision. Like when I decided to quit my job, I still question, should I have? So in those would haves and should haves, I have got caught. Maybe it was meant to be. I have like questioned myself. I felt really bad. I should not have left the place I worked so much, loved so much, that I loved my job. But I'm still doing what I love. The challenges are a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's okay, yeah. It's okay. Like everyone tells me you should have taken someone's advice. But those people would have advised me from their perception, no?
Yeah. Yeah. Pooja, you've also, had extensive experience talking about lifestyle, films, fashion, art, so much of this stuff. And you've spoken with celebrities, influencers, people who've had the chance to experience fame in some manner. And you yourself, you've experienced popularity, being a public figure out there. What's your take on fame, and how have you seen that impact mental health, whether it's for yourself or for those around you in the conversations that you've had?
So you're very kind to call me famous, but I don't know I'm that famous. But I'll tell you, being in the public eye, it was when I started work, there was no YouTube, there was no
Hmm.
Google. We were all went to libraries to research, and your work was what was shown on TV. So, but later when Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, everything, when you put yourself out there, anyone, nameless, faceless people, anybody will. I see people don't like praising another. It takes a large heart to tell somebody, hey, you did a good job.
Hmm.
They will write, oh, she's looking terrible. Oh, look at her face. Oh, such a terrible interview. That makes you judge yourself. It brings you down. It is, when you're being rejected publicly, to say, maybe I'm not that good enough. So I have actually reached the stage when everybody told me, why are you comparing your interviews to another? And you do that. There's competition. You observe another person's interviews. Oh my God, I should have asked that. My interview is terrible. Like, I'm very self-critical. I'm extremely critical about my work. And I remember speaking to Abhishek Bachchan, who actually said he makes notebooks, writes about where all he's gone wrong in his work. So, these are people like when you're critiquing yourself, like where I've gone wrong, maybe next time I won't do that. You're comparing yourself to another. And thanks to Instagram, you are perpetually seeking validation from people outside. आज मेरे post को कितने likes मिले. So there is that downside. Now, recently I had some people, they will troll you for an interview. Oh, she didn't ask this person that question. She ignored that. I just want to tell those people out there, you don't know the ground reality. You do not know the state that guest who might be your idol is sitting in. People who are there know what is happening. That person might not be in the right mood. You are just trying to cajole. Everyone goes through mood swings.
Yeah.
So, just step back. Don't make your judgments. And there's also Shah Rukh Khan who had once told me, like when his films were not doing too well, he says, you're as good or as bad as your last story or your film. He says, but now I tell my critics, if you like me, raise your hands. If you don't, raise your standards. These are, but also, have you seen recently a lot of celebrities have been speaking about their struggle with anxiety. Deepika Padukone, when she spoke out again about depression, there were many who said, oh, it's a PR stunt. It was not a PR stunt. That she just said it was time that you spoke about it. Like at the peak of her fame, she says, I was just like this lonely girl sitting in a hotel room, howling away when there was everything going right for her. I mean, I would see her saying that her life is perfect. You would see me, I would see you, your life is perfect, but I don't know your inner struggle. Similarly, Virat Kohli recently spoke in 2014. He felt like the loneliest guy on the field. Varun Dhawan has spoken about anxiety. You have international, you have people speaking about it. It's just that we amplify the negative thing. Oh, so-and-so had anorexia. So-and-so had a breakdown. So-and-so put up this post. But have you seen what they might be actually struggling with? Struggling with being in the public eye every day. Like John Abraham said, every day there is a rumor written about you. Your family is being slammed. You're publicly, there are rumors, bad press about you. What do you do? I mean, they are not like someone far away. They're human like you and me. It impacts your mental health. He says, I have stopped reading headlines. Mahendra Singh Dhoni said, I do get anxious. He says, but now I control what I can control. What is not in my hand, I let it be. Selection hua, nahi hua. is not in my hand. But I guess they have evolved to that level, but everybody is not at that level. They're human like you and me. They're emotional. Before judging them for them being all wrong, all right, see what they're going through every day when publicly your family, your child, you yourself are being slammed. How would you feel? I want to ask the trolls who do that. How would you feel if every day someone spoke about your mother, your father, your kid, about what you're wearing, how bad you are? You are just named aapne to likh diya, but see how it, you know, worked on the person's mind. And as I said, rejection. Fame is all about acceptance. On a Friday, your film is dissed, your performance is dissed. Nobody cares about how you're struggling. You know, just see that there's some people who are on top. There's another one who's struggling to have that break. And social media is all about being seen. But I want to tell people, social media, people put out their best faces. Nobody is going to put out what they're going through. So I had someone, a colleague, who used to diss single women at work. Every day put up posts of her Sukhi Parivar. I mean, why are you doing that? And then you say, I'm grateful. I express gratitude. Don't be this two-faced person. No, don't diss people publicly and then in your private whatever putting up these lovely posts. You know, you come across people like that because people are people. Yeah, you can't gauge humans what they are. Their social media posts vis-a-vis their real life persona, two different things. So I mean, don't make it out about yourself. Just don't make. And also the thing is rejection. Before you're publicly rejection and slamming people, just thoda compassion. Compassion is what's lacking. Why is India at the top, at the bottom of the happiness index? We are only striving to make others unhappy. Just live and let live. It's okay.
And this is very interesting, right? Somehow people feel that if someone is in a position of so-called power or fame, it gives, the regular person out there the right to say something mean to them or bad to them. I don't know what it is around this that people just feel that it's okay to do that. I think that recognition, like you said, that the other person is a human being just like us. They have the same emotions, the same, the internal workings, and it's so important to know that. Just because they're famous doesn't give the right for someone to say that, oh, they have a perfect life and it's okay for me to put this upon them.
No. And they're also going through their own struggles.
Yeah.
Deepika Padukone came out publicly. There were a few people from her industry who said, oh, she's doing it as a publicity stunt. Why would she do it as a publicity stunt? It takes guts to come out in the open and say, I have anxiety. I went through anxiety. I was howling. I mean, and that girl was at the top of her game when she came out. It made others also express it like, I went through it. Now you see people like Anushka Sharma also said, I have anxiety.
Yeah.
And that's why if you see, her posts are very motivating. She's only putting up good posts so that maybe through my position, I can encourage people. But there are others also who will put posts just slamming people on Twitter. I just say just block and detox from those people. You don't need them. You don't need them. And also for people they also say content has karma. Content creates karma. So I remember when, tabloid news, I had put my foot down. I will not do gossip news. I will not do it because those people are very nice to me. It might get me the clickbait, but why would I want to say, oh, she's going through a breakup. Oh, maybe he's seeing that person. That's their life. Yeah, let them live it. Who are we to sit in judgment?
That's very conscious of you, Pooja, to take that call and to know that, this is what I'm going to say no to. Yeah.
And I've always tried to do that. Sometimes, yes, I want to say my interviews may not be equally balanced, but before you judge me, please do realize people come getting their own moods and their own aura and own vibes. One day, the star who might be great friends with you, has given you great interviews, might not be in the mood to talk. The other person might be in the mood to talk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, before you judge anyone and say, ye to bad mood mein, oh, she is not good. Please understand, you do not know the ground realities. They are very different. And also this fangirling, fanboying that happens, do realize your idols also have feet of clay. Do not put people on a pedestal. They are bound to disappoint you.
Yes.
They will disappoint you. And don't think that your idol cannot go through depression, anxiety, and does not have, something. We are human. Lady Diana spoke about anorexia. She had anorexia, but we judged her. Maybe she was going through anxiety, yeah, but she could not express it.
And I think that's so powerful what you said. When one person comes out and speaks, you are giving the permission to others to be able to speak their truth.
Because
to
after
just,
her, everyone spoke up. And now when
Yes.
Virat Kohli spoke up, like I was the loneliest guy. Recently we had a young wrestler who committed suicide because she lost a match. That's not the be all and end all. I mean, I also, when I lose stories, I still remember November. I went through a bad time because I lost one exclusive. I was not considered worthy enough and I felt so bad. For 2 days, I dissed myself. I cried and I cried and I cried. And I actually felt I had been sucked in. So, you know, like your support system at home, jo tumko milna hai, wo milega. But I was like, but I'm good at my job. How did this person get it? That person is not. Just because he or she has a brand backing him, why don't people see it? But so life is unfair. There will be people who will use you, and when you need their help, will not come out to help you. But these are the same people who will talk about mental health and giving out.
Yeah.
I just say walk your talk. Just walk your talk.
Yeah.
Compassion.
And I think
Just
that
be
also
compassionate.
that's also makes it even more important to seek help from professionals. Of course, there's a space where family and people who really care about us can step in. But I think beyond that, when we start taking the opinions on people on illnesses and stuff where we need intervention, I think then that gets tricky as well. And then there's so much
Absolutely, because
stigma.
family is, they know you well. They will just say, you've always been like that. Go take it from a non-third party who has no idea, who will not judge you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
also, I just feel you have to stop judging people. Yeah, this is now making a conscious effort not to judge. You know, there are times when you see a social media post, you'll see somebody's work, kya kiya yaar, this person. I'm now seriously making a conscious effort that I will not judge. I will not judge.
Yeah. Pooja, we've talked about the dark side of all of this, and I think a lot of work needs to be done in this space. Tell me, where do you see media playing a role? Do you see media can, in any way can positively impact or at least break through the stigmas with regards to mental health?
Of course, have more discussion. Media, what it does is, whenever something serious happens, like we lost a top star, a few actors, people in the public eye chose to end their lives because they couldn't cope up with it. Firstly, sensitize your organizations. Make it important. Make it important. Like mental health discussions should be important. Sensitize your organizations. Social media also, I feel that people should be sensitive. Have discussions, but not after when a colossal loss happens. It's not that we have a discourse on mental health. This needs to be done regularly. Also, bad news, I know bad news gets more likes. Good news, nobody likes to watch. Positive news, one. Make an effort. If you are having too bad news, there is bad happening, but also see the positive. Do not paint it as all dark. Be a little kind to everybody. I know it's great to slam people and put them down. Doesn't work. Try to be a little bit. That won't happen. But I guess we need to talk more. Let's not brush this under the carpet. Let's normalize it. Your colleagues, your friends, people in your family, or for that matter, the person you are interviewing could be. Let's not judge them. Because I'm telling you, if anybody today comes up, say, example, if like how Deepika Padukone was, saying, oh, it's a PR stunt, and then everyone wanted to ask her, so what happened? How much you cried? She has told her story. Let's go beyond that. Let's go beyond that. Do not judge them. Call in more celebrities. Make it a more a platform where everybody can talk about it. Everyone's going through it, dealing with it at some level.
Yeah.
And also in schools, sensitize it. Kids are stressed. Kids are going through anxiety. They are nervous. But teachers, I've heard, don't understand. Be nice. Have conversations around it. And also have discourses. Ask people who are in the public domain to come out and speak. Let people, do not shame people who are going through this. And yeah, this is what needs to be done. Have open, the way we talk about politics and ripped jeans and slamming thing, let's talk about depression and mental health. It is of utmost priority now.
Absolutely. So in the workplace, you're saying, as well as, of course, the responsibility around how the media handles the various aspects of their engagement, I think both sides need to be equally looked at.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Pooja. This has been so
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And of course, I look forward to chatting more with you on mental health. We'll keep that on.
Likewise. Thank you, Sonam.